It was just last week we started to explore whether or not the latest patch in Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown has indeed worked. I can confirm at this point, last week we had tested out the high stakes racing and we did receive the payout for coming in the top 3 of last week's high stakes. Today we're going to have another look at this one to see what is in store, to see if the high stakes racing has been revitalised and something we should all be paying attention to. But with this, something has kind of stirred here, and I think we've maybe got a development that we should be trying to push forward to the devs, something that we should be seeing in game. What would Test Drive Unlimited be like with a weekend league? We see on all different forms of platform, all different forms of platforms, all different forms of games. Obviously FIFA, FC 25 is now known, of course, probably being the biggest one for this. Having a weekend league could be huge in this game. Now, there's a lot of variables that would have to come into this, how it would work, what would be involved with it, but I think we've got the possibilities here that if we could have a weekend league, much like we have with the weekly live events, much like we've got with the high stakes racing, we could have a huge opportunity in our hands if the devs could fit this one into game. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it. It's something I wanted to run by you before we did obviously get into the action for today's video. Now, last week, of course, with the high stakes racing, we used the Jaguar F-Type. We tried the Huracan. You know how that one ended out. If not, the video is right up here. You can go and check that out after today's video. Today, I wanted to use this one again because it looks a very interesting race. But things change very, very quickly. We'll head down to this week's high stakes race, which is, of course, 9.81. It is a 2.1 mile time attack off-road. It's 100% gravel. Cross-country category 600 to 700 RP, which unfortunately does rule out the Jaguar F-Type SVR. Now, you guys know I'm a fan of the off-road racing, especially in this game, and what we've got on our hands here is an opportunity to top out the leaderboard. We can see so far the only leaderboard is blank. That's still a bug in game. That, of course, happened last week, but this week's high stake, at the time of recording this video, only has one competitor, Miami Heat fan in the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, with a 2-minute 25. Now, if I remember right, we had some interesting times. We've got some interesting cars we could use here. The Alpine A110, the Porsche 911 Carrera Coupe Adventurer. I don't think we're going to be up to scratch with some of the SUVs that we do have. I don't think we're going to be able to use them. And I know you guys are going to be screaming instantly, the Porsche Cayenne is the one to choose. I'm just not affiliated with this car like many of you guys. Yes, we did prove it was faster than the Urus. My original SVR, I still love this thing. That's the previous time I did set with the the 9.81 race. But I've got to stick with the Urus. I love this thing. It handles the way I want it to handle. It's lively, it's aggressive, it's boisterous. But that's just me. That's the way I like to drive this thing. Throw about these off-road races, gripping onto the edge of the seat as we're going into some of these corners. It's the way I like the build of this car. So we're going to use it to kick us off with 9.81. The time to beat isn't incredibly hard. To get to the top of the leaderboard equally, I don't think it's all too hard. So we'll launch the Urus off the line here. Right into the first couple of corners, we can already see just how bouncy, lively and active this circuit is going to be for us. It is a tricky circuit. I'm not going to take away from you guys. If you're trying out 9.81, it is a very tricky circuit, especially that little corner there. Coming too aggressively, we will hit that wall on the right hand side. But overall, yeah, we had one practice run. Always do a practice run. Understand the track that you've got, this here being the time that we're going to set. This is going to be our time on our second effort. 2-minute 10 is the time to beat. I feel quite confident that we're going to absolutely smash that time. Coming through this next little section, it is downhill and it is left, right, left, right, left, right. It's tricky, guys. Just make sure you're on the ball when coming down the circuit here. Round this little right-hander, we can cut just a little bit, but again, being very cautious, coming back onto the circuit, not to lose any form of traction in the Urus. Coming around the right hand hairpin there, we do come in a little bit heavy, and unfortunately we do lose that traction that we're trying our hardest not to lose. A big power slide round the left hander, get that one corrected round into the right hander, once again into the left hander, once again into the right hander. Lots of snaking sections right through this circuit. I do think it's fantastic. It's a great test of how we can handle some of these cross-country C-class vehicles. Downhill into left hander once again. Want to be cautious coming into here. That wall on the left hand side, it comes at you very, very quickly indeed, so be cautious with that one. But we can commit just a little bit here, coming downhill into probably one of the trickier sections here. We want to get this hairpin handled very well. Big power slide into it. Keeping it in third gear, you know, we want that torque to pull us out of the corner, and it has worked out pretty well so far as we do continue down this downhill section here. The whole race essentially is all downhill. It is indeed a very fast and tricky one. Coming into the braking zones, with it all being downhill, you got to be careful not to outbrake yourselves. With big power slide probably going to be your best friend around this circuit specifically. This one here is, in my opinion, the trickiest corner. Coming to that one too hot. We will hit the rock face on the right hand side, and we do cross the start finish line. What kind of time do we set? Where do we place on that leaderboard? We set a 2 minute 4.94, so we know we've bet the required time. We've also managed to beat Miami Heat fan in the Porsche Cayenne Turbo. 2 minute 4.94 to his 2 minute 25.23. And I know already, guys, you're screaming, jump into the Cayenne, try it out, let's go for it. Let's see what the Cayenne's like. We've proven on the bigger races the Cayenne is indeed faster than the Urus. What's it going to be like on these tighter, trickier circuits? Let's give it a go. Launch the Cayenne off the line. We know this thing doesn't get through the gearbox quite like the Urus, but off the line, well, it pains me to say, it absolutely smokes the Urus coming off of the line, coming down through the first little tricky section here. How is the balance of the Cayenne? And again, oh, we do overcommit to that one. That was the wall I was kind of telling you about in the first race, guys. Don't want to come into that one too hot, but in through the early sections here, it absolutely kills me to say, but once again, the Cayenne is beating the Urus only just. My racing in the Cayenne hasn't worked out too well, unfortunately. We don't manage to set a good time for it. We can see, however, Rower Row has set a time in the SVR, 2 minute 11, so we're still sitting at the top of that board. Unfortunately, my ability didn't hold up there in the Cayenne, didn't manage to set a competitive time, but we will top out the leaderboard for now with a 2 minute 4.94. Let me know if you guys have done this week's high stakes and where you have placed on that leaderboard. But I kind of spoke about, leading into today's video, the possibility of a weekend league. A weekend race league in this game, I think, would revolutionise it. You guys know already, I believe the heart and soul of Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown right now is indeed the live weekly events. They're the thing that we're all tuning in for every week. Get onto it as soon as we can, try and set some of the fastest times possible. Testing out different cars, everything that's available to us. And I think that opens a door for something big in Test Drive Unlimited. Come out to the map here, we can of course see what we do have so far. The likes of the high stakes racing, we're all competing with one another, paying an entry fee to, basically win some money. That there is a competitive league. That's what I kind of want to see more of in game. Then of course we come down to what we have so far this week. Let's actually switch them on down here, the live events. Well, these come once a week and they last for the full week. And again, this is a competitive league across races, earning points, yes, for a reward, but it's still the same format that we've got, essentially a race league. Now, why can't we see in game? Maybe this is improvement, maybe this is something the devs need to see. Guys, share this video. If it's on Discord, share it out. I want to get traction on this. I want the devs to see this. I'm just a little YouTuber after all. I'm not really doing much. I'm trying to grow the channel. You know where we're positioned here, but the possibility, the potential of a weekend race league could truly revolutionise Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, could revolutionise the player base and who's attracted to this game. For me, a weekend league would be some of the best additions to this game. Maybe it's just 3 races for that weekend league, maybe it's a selection of 5, maybe 10. There's plenty enough races between map 1 and map 2 that we could actually have a competitive race league, whether it's, through set categories, set races, or whatever it may be. I believe in this game there's so much potential for us truly to have a weekend race league that it's something that we really would want to see. Let me know if it's something you guys would want, or if there's too much in game already, is that going to, overcrowd the game? For me, I feel that the weekends are missing something, and a weekend race league would well and truly fix that one, guys. Please do let me know in the comments section down below. Whilst you're there, as always, smash up the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell, all the usual good stuff, help grow this channel. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. As always, guys, stay tuned for more updates on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.